Banjo, a tribute to my colourful friend. I've always read him. You're going to let me talk? Yeah? For the last 7 years, I have lived with a green-winged macaw called Banjo. I've lived with a lot of animals, but none so have made such an impression on me as this wonderful parrot. When I first saw him, he was a mess. He had very few feathers, and the lady that owned him was too scared to get him out of the cage. He was referred to as an it rather than a him, because like so many people, she saw him as just a bird. I saw a future friend. She was happy to give him to me for my animal school, and so a date was set, and I brought him home to live with me. Good boy. It took a good few weeks before Banjo would talk to me and interact with me like you see here.
Hello.
In fact, I can't find any early footage of then because he was too shy for me to use a camera. And the feather plucking had become a habit which he did whenever he was nervous. So I had to teach him to play with toys by rewarding him with a clicker when he was good and didn't pull his feathers.
When Banjo first came to me, he was a rescue macaw with very few feathers. And he would pluck these feathers out because he was bored. What happened to him afterwards was really quite dramatic. Banjo ended up getting a disease called aspergillosis, which is a breathing condition when the parrots get fungal spores inside their lungs. For at least 2 months. Are you demonstrating fungal spores or are you just hot?
This condition, aspergillosis, was what finally took his life a few weeks ago. But back 7 years ago when I got him, it threatened to kill him then. I took him to the vets, and a vet told me that he would only have a few weeks to live, but I wasn't having that. This is where my now good friend Liz Whiter comes in. She lived up the road from me, and just happened to be an animal healer. I took Banjo to her, and we decided to completely change his diet, from the dusty seeds to fresh fruits and vegetables. I had to nebulise Banjo with a medication that he could breathe in, and so I even created a tent that I could go in with him. We gave him fresh mint to breathe in too, and Banjo began to thrive. In fact, he completely moved into the house where he took over. So this little funny dance he's doing means he's happy. That's his birdie dance. Possibly that he's a bit excited as well. Happy and excited is good when training a parrot. And his newest party trick was showing off his wings. He had never been able to stretch them out before because the cage he was in was too small. But now, on the cue of flap flap, those wonderful angel wings came out. And Banjo started to come out too, in a great big cage I'd purchased from a pet shop. I took him to children's clubs, where he began to meet more people than he ever imagined. But the cage was awkward and heavy, and so Liz Whiter and her Healing Animals organisation fundraised to buy him a backpack, which enabled me to take him with me more and more places. Banjo's life had transformed from the lonely parrot with no feathers in the hallway to an active member of the community. He went to pubs, parties. He visited friends and strangers, and he never failed to amaze and enchant the people he came across.
Say hello.
If he visited you, be grateful. He was such a colourful and wonderful animal, and it has been my pleasure to bring him around to meet you.
Say clever. Hello. Are you clever? Clever.
And if you haven't, I hope that this video might give you some indication of how big a friend this parrot was. Banjo's greatest work was working in the care homes and with the lonely and the vulnerable. Banjo visited prisons and mental health sectors, where he found some of the most broken and lost people and inspired them by flapping his wings while they chanted his name and laughed. I have never seen such an ambassador for one that started life in such a small and lonely place and gave so much hope to others.
He gets loud if he feels that he's being ignored. Yeah? So he's a rescue parrot, and when I got him, he had no feathers, like nothing from the neck down. And we had to teach him, to play with toys.
Parrots, like Banjo, have the same intelligence as a 4-year-old child. Only, unlike a 4-year-old child, they never grow up.
And so we also got him an aviary so he could play outside. Parrots are so intelligent that they get easily bored, so I came up with all sorts of ways to entertain him.
I read to him, sing to him, draw to him, and he even has his own parrot TV. His fame also began to grow when an article was published about him in Parrots magazine. Banjo inspired me so much that I decided I wanted to learn more about macaws.
Hola! It's me and Banjo. I am, in a few hours, off to Ecuador. Sadly, I'm not taking this guy with me. He's going to have plenty of visitors while I'm away. You're so good. I am going to Ecuador to work with his relatives. That's some parrots in Zoo Refuge Tarqui, which are rescued macaws.
And so Liz and I went in 2019 to Ecuador to work with rescue macaws at a centre. Banjo had inspired me to fly to the other side of the world, to meet his cousins and brothers. It was a wonderful and inspiring trip, although I did have to FaceTime my bird every day.
Life is fun with a parrot, but full of responsibilities. Yay! Banjo's not as excited as I am. Are you? And then, during the 2020 lockdown, I began to make YouTube videos for the children stuck at home.
Hello, welcome to Animal School.
So I had a lot of people asking me about Banjo because they saw him in last week's drawing episode. Banjo, he's a clever boy. Aren't you? Yes, you are. And he can talk. He can say quite a few words because, well, he's a parrot. Banjo became my co-presenter. And we reached such success with the channel that he ended up being on the BBC News.
Her animal school can't open for face-to-face visits, but as Peter Whittlesey has been finding out, it hasn't stopped her mission.
This is Lindsay's Animal School. I am a girl who talks to the animals.
In life before lockdown, Lindsay's Animal School went to care homes, NHS facilities and after-school classes. Her self-styled students miss the animal antics so much, she's taken her menagerie online.
So I'm continuing Banjo's education outside.
Educating everyone to have an amiable attitude towards arachnids highlights Lindsay's talents as a teacher. Today she was filming her next episode.
Banjo loved the attention and fame. We're waiting for our first radio appearance, aren't we? And I may have to leave the room if Banjo's too loud. I'm not sure everyone wants to hear him squawking in the background.
They're all watching you from their houses. Yeah.
To be honest, Banjo
You're gonna
became
say
the
hello?
real star
You're
of
a
the
good
show,
boy.
with children sending in pictures of him every week. It didn't matter which animal we were drawing. Banjo's pictures would always win.
With the creation of Zoom came a new way to teach. We zoomed into schools, as well as WhatsApping friends during the lockdown. Liz and I put on an evening with Banjo, and several of her HAO students communicated with him.
Banjo, can you target? Target. Good boy.
I think you would agree that Banjo led a very full and interesting life.
He feels he should be the centre of attention. He feels he should be the centre of attention now, tomorrow, the day after.
And that, dear friends, is why I have made a tribute to him. I do not want his legacy to be forgotten. He was the most colourful and beautiful part of my life. He gave me the spirit of the rainforest. He took me to the rainforest. And hopefully he will continue to take you there. So thank you so much for loving my beautiful bird. Banjo died of aspergillosis on the 13th of September. I held him in my arms as he passed, and I told him not to worry. I looked into his eyes and told him he was a good boy. Despite everything, he seemed at peace. It is true we should not fear death, for life and love is greater.
So he's insisting that I show you how to draw a parrot. In fact, he's really on my back about it. Yeah? Oh! Okay, so that's a little less painful. So we're going to have the head here, and we're going to go down into a curve into the whip. So this means, oh no, don't do that. What are you just going to put it back? Yay! Do it again. Can you put it up? Oh, put that back. Okay. Oh, he's going to do this here. Oh no! Banjo, what are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? You going to put it back? Can you put it back? Can you put it back in? Oh, good boy! Well done. He's a star. From Banjo and I, thank you. If you're interested in nature, you will never be bored. Banjo, 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 banjo. You're so clever, clever. You're so clever, clever. Banjo, banjo, banjo. Banjo, banjo, banjo. You're so clever. Banjo, banjo, banjo. You're ambassador to the other foot. Banjo, good boy. Banjo, banjo, and that foot. Yeah, you're dancing.